Hello everyone. I am here today to get us started on another tag. Now, how I've been doing this, just so if you ever do a tag series and you're a YouTuber, I prepare everything, I put it in a bag, and I pull sources from everywhere, okay? Anywhere I think I can, even Pinterest. So I have been saving tags over the years for Pinterest, things that I have wanted to make and never have done. So I'm using a lot of those ideas. So they're not all my ideas, like the bunny was, let me think. All of them I've done so far has been, I think. Maybe all but one. This one is off of Pinterest, and this is on just regular lightweight cardstock, not watercolor paint, watercolor paper. It's all wrinkled and it's not that great, but this is kind of how it's going to look. Okay, set that aside because that's not the one we're going to be working on, and we don't want to have, Now, I just decided, in the past, I have always just done my own thing, and I have in some things here, and I still am. I just, before I decided to start the tag series, I was I really wanted to do some of the tags. I was on Pinterest looking, and I thought, I really want to make those. I never got those made. Or I really want to make this. I never got them made. And so anyway, that's kind of where I'm at on some of these. Not all of them, but just some. And this particular one I got on Pinterest. I couldn't give you the source. It's been too long ago, that I saw it. But I prepped it. And let me tell you, if you make these, prepare to have some time involved in it, okay, because it does take plenty of time. Okay, so the first thing you need is a tag. Okay, now you need a butterfly. I took a butterfly I had in my stash that I thought was the right size, and I put it, I drew around it. Nothing to it. I did a square on the corner of this paper here that I thought would fit right in here. Okay. Now, and then I just doodled around the outside of this. Okay. Now you're probably thinking, well, why'd you do that? Well, that's just how it ended up. And then I cut a strip. Let me find one that doesn't have something on it. Then I cut a strip about this size. Okay, there's no stamping, no sewing in this. This is, I want to say pretty much it's a doodle and a little bit of watercolor that happens. So I went ahead and prepped a bunch of them ahead of time, but we're going to do the one together, and then we'll work on the others. Okay, this is my little pattern for that. Okay, and I just used, let me hold up the watercolor paper. This has all my writing on it. I use this book for my watercolor samples, the different kinds of paints, but there's a bunch of paper in the back and I just grabbed it. So this is the watercolor that I use. Or I'm using on this project. I use all kinds, okay? But mostly, that's what we're doing today, is we're using that one. Okay, so the first thing I would tell you is I'm using a zig marker that you can watercolor over, okay? And it won't run. And so the first thing I would say to you is we need to, I'm going to scoot our little thing away here. We need to get the black portion put on these, okay? And this is time consuming. It might run into 2 videos, but that's okay. If it does, we'll just put 2 back to back. Okay, let me, I'm just, you know, trying to stay on the line, but not always that successful. Now you can thicken this line up if you want, go around it twice. Because usually when you do this with a ruler, you get a thinner line. So I'll tell you also, when you're done, if you don't want to run your ruler, wipe all the edges off, because you'll have this black ink all over you. Okay, I've learned that from past projects. I hope you guys aren't pulling your hair out yet. I feel like I am sometimes. So I have some things to tell you guys. I haven't had a chance to tell you. I may have told you, and I'm just too old and senile to realize it. I don't know if that's true or not. Oh, here, we got to do this one too. Oh, well, we'll do this one after we cut it, and there's an easier way to do it. But because we have all these scallops, you know, so now you're going to go, did I use the big side or the little side for that? No, I used the small side. Okay, so you're just going to go around all these little doodle scallops, okay? And I didn't worry about them being perfect. We can erase over it to get any that we don't stay on the lines for. It's not a huge problem. Okay. All right. So next week I go for my pre-op on my other hip. I'm going to try my hardest not to let it affect my crafting. It's just the other side was pretty rough, but I think I've learned a lot since then. And the chair that I use in my craft room is more comfortable for me than sitting in the living room. So it might take me 1-2 weeks at max. I'm trying to get some videos done ahead. That's why I'm only posting every other day right now. And then when I'm able, I'll go back to every day if I can. And anyway, so as you can see, this is a no-brainer, right? To just scallop around it. You can't be, how do I put it? You can't be afraid to just let go and do this, because the doodling is a big part of this card. The thing I look at it is it's just paper, you know. Practice on just some plain paper. That's when you'll get your best one. And you know, hope that helps. Now I'm going to the bigger tip on my Zig pen, and I'm just going to make kind of a circle. I do the 4 corners first. It's almost like a teardrop on the corners, but everywhere else it's just going to be a little circle. And then I'm just going to start doing them right next to the line, not over in the line, but, and I'm kind of making them to fit whatever size scallop that is, because they're all different. I don't want it to be as big as the little scalloped section. So, and it's super fast to do this part. Now, it's lots of fun. Doodling is really relaxing, and I don't do it as often as I would like, you know. So there we go. That's how you do the doodling, okay? Now, I'm going to cut out this square right here, because it is the same size as the one right there, and I'll show you why. You'll be able to do this 2 different ways. There's a couple different ways you can do it, should you decide to. Okay. All right, now I'm going to bring my scribble paper, that's what I call it, and I'm going to take my marker, the big side, the fat one, and you just want to hold this in place and don't let it wiggle around on you. Start at one end and go like that. Now, you're going to get just a little line like that, and that's all you need. Just get at the end. You're going to be right up against the side of the paper, but you're really marking on the big paper mostly. This takes a little practice, but it's really simple. Doesn't that look cool? It's really easy. So now the next thing is we're going to cut out the butterflies. Now, I think I already have a bunch cut out somewhere. I just don't know where. Let me look and see. Oh, no, the others are all ready for the next step. So I'm going to cut this out really fast, and then I'm going to show you. You just cut on the lines. Try to keep its shape as much as you can. And if you have any pencil marks left, you're going to want to erase them. Okay. Now, this little guy will not have an antenna. If you want to figure out a way to put some wires behind him and do an antenna, you can, but I'm not going to be doing that in this video. And it looks fine. So that's why I wanted to pick a very simple butterfly, because if you get too complicated, I just looked at what was on Pinterest and kind of found one that was similar. Okay, so there is our butterfly. Now we're going to take the small end of this. Let me get to the small end right here. After I get it all over me. The small end here. And we're just going to go around the inside, up at, as close as we can to the outside. Don't try to get at the very edge. You don't want the very edge. If you run off the page, that's okay. The thing is on this is just to take your time. See, like I just went off a little bit right there. Just get back where you left off and go on. It's all right. Nobody's going to notice that. It's not as big a deal as you might think. Okay, and then we're going to keep going here. And all the way around the outside. Now, I'm going to take our eraser and erase anything you didn't, that's on the edges. Get hold of it. And so now you can move your little scrap paper. Let's get some of this eraser away. And we're still on our small tip side. Now on here, we're going to just doodle a design on this part of the butterfly and up on this part. Now don't let this freak you out. We're just going to go right here, and we're going to go wider from here and closer to this side, and I'll show you. So we're going to start right here, and we're going to go around like that. Now see how this is smaller and this is larger. Okay, and then at the end here, we're going to draw a little flower. Just doodle a little simple flower with a dot and 4 or 5 petals. Just like that. Super easy. Now we're going to skip over to the other side for a minute so I can show you how to make these leaves. They're really easy. This is what we do on this side. We leave a little bit right here, and we're gonna go around, and then we'll get right here. We're gonna go like this and go back, because this is a leaf, and we're gonna color it in black, okay? You could do whatever you want, but, you know, I'm doing it this way. Okay, now this is a stem, and so we're gonna add more leaves. Now, we're not gonna go crazy. They're gonna be just like 3 or 4 more, okay? And they don't all have to be the same size, but they have to lean the same direction. So this one, and you take them up, clear up to the line if you need to, just like that. And come around. It looks better if you do. And then over here, you go the same way. And the same way. And all of those will be colored in as well. Okay? I'm not going to spend a long time on the coloring in because, you know, we won't get finished if we do. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this butterfly because we may need to use him. And I want you to see how it looks when it's completely done. Okay? So there's that. And I really could have made that smaller and not as curvy. But it's okay like it is. Now, over here, we're pretending that this is the stem also. So we're going to go up like and make our leaves like that. And stay inside the 2 lines. Okay? Don't take your leaves outside. Then you're gonna start right here, and you're gonna curve it, kind of like you would do a candy cane. Only it's not straight lines. Remember, it's leaves on your stem. You don't put them close together. You do it about like that, and you go to about right here and stop on this side, and then you're gonna go right here. And do it on the inside. Don't make them real huge. I'm just going to do one every now and then, probably about 3 on this inside. Okay, and right here. The nice thing about it is it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so there you go. Right here, we're just going to do a couple little lines that don't even touch, and you're probably thinking, what in the world for? Just for the design. Now we've colored everything in, and we are going to color in the flower black as well. You could leave the center and do it yellow or pink, because those are the colors that we're going to use on this tag. Okay, so this is how your butterfly will look. I did mess up right there, but because these little lines go that way, you don't even really notice it, you see. Okay, so on this little square, which this would be cut out, on this little square, not on this, but on this, you're going to do a half moon off this page on the top left-hand side, like that. That's the center of a flower that's half off the page, okay? And then you're going to just do it just like that. And then you're going to come around. These are going to be more rounded petals that are hanging off the page. And that's it on that one, okay? And it will end up right here, and you'll see what I mean in just a bit. Okay, so everything's been drawn on. Oh, except one thing. We didn't do our label. This is what we're going to put the word happy on. Think small, okay? Don't think large, because the butterfly is going to be over here, okay? So you just have a little space right here. So the first thing you're going to do is draw a straight line all the way around the outside of this label. It's not really it's more of a band. This does not have to be super straight and all fancy, okay? If it's crooked, that's okay. You can just come back in and do a second one. But just don't take up too much space in the center. Okay? All right, so here we go. We're going to actually start as close to the end without touching, okay? You're going to leave just a little bit of space above and below the word happy. There's your H. And I'm making them all capital, but the H is larger than the other three. So you want them as small, you want it about like that. And just hope that it's the right size. Now, I'm going to do a couple little slashes right here, kind of like stitch lines, and one over there. Okay, so everything's been drawn on now. We're quickly going to cut out this little thing. Although, let me see how many we have. We may not have to cut it out. Although that one's probably the better of all of them. I cut these out, and when I was done, see, like I messed up several times. Yeah, I'm not perfect, that's for sure. And some of them are kind of wonky. So maybe we do need this one. No, we don't have to cut it out, but we'll just use these, and I'll probably make some more out of what's left over at another time. So the next thing we're going to do is bring our tag out. Oh, I forgot, we are not done. Yeah, we are for now. No, I'm sorry. I had to stop and think. I haven't made these before either, other than the one. We're going to go around the outside of this. We're going to make it look, see how we did the wonky look, okay? Just like we've done a lot of times on videos, okay? So you're just going to go like this, and every now and then you can do a little squiggle, make it look crooked and intentional. Mine looks like a little heartbeat a little bit. Or you can just do those little slashes like we did on the name, or with the name happy. But remember, you can do them different, and that way they have their own look. Okay? Now, you're going to do a second line, but you're not going to worry about doing the little lines. You're just going to make it look crooked, okay? Here. You just want it to look, you know, you don't want great, that's a little big. I would try to keep it closer to the other line, but you don't want the lines touching at all, okay? Like that one was way too big, but that's okay. And so we will use this again at one point. We're going to pull out our watercolors now. Now, let me get my little dirty, this thing's dirty, I'm just saying, little dirty Creative Memories thing. We're going to go ahead and do the watercolor on all of these that we are going to use, okay? Now, we don't have that one ready, but okay. We're going to make 3, so we don't need to go crazy. So here is, these 2 look better, so we're going to use those. We're going to use the ones that we did. Okay. Right there. And this happy and this butterfly for sure. And let's see. Let me look at these and try to see which ones I like the best. That one's not that great. I'm going to leave it over there. We'll do this one. This is the one we did together. And this one. For now. That's the ones we're doing, okay? So, pick out the 3 best happies. The ones that are the smallest, like see how small that one is? It's long though, I may have to cut it. And then we've got this one. It's pretty small, and this one. So let's use this one instead of the long one. Then we don't have to mess with cutting it, right? Okay. So there we go. This is what we're going to end up writing on our tag. just realized I didn't go around the outside of this one, so I'm going to do it real quick. So, you know, this can be, if you're prepared, this can be a really fun tag to make, okay? Just went off the page right there. And I'm trying to hurry, so sometimes that affects the way things look. Same thing here. Now we're going to go around the whole tag with one line, one sloppy line. And it doesn't matter if it's beautiful. You just want it to, you want them to look like they, you know, they go together. So there you go. All right, so we're going to have our tags and everything else ready to go here. I'm going to turn my fan off for a minute while we do this. If it gets too hot, I'll have to turn it back on. I'm telling you, I'm so hot-natured. When these lights are so warm, you know, makes it hard. So I've got my jar of water, and I've got my wet brushes. I'm going to take the lids off of the two larger size ones, which neither one of them are really that big. And put it right there. Take the lid off of that one and put it right here. Okay, now I'm going to try to get everything into the camera. I don't know if that's going to be possible or not. Okay, let me put up this knife that we trimmed it out with. Okay, now I'm going to pull out the one I used as my sample so that we will know exactly, if I can get it open, which one we'll know exactly which one we're doing. And we're going to need some of those too. Oh, and we're going to need some black string. You're probably thinking, what in the world? We're going to need some black string. Okay. And we're going to need these little yellow reinforcers. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is let's do all the little stuff first. We're going to take this, the bigger of the two, and we're going to take them and wet the tip of them with some water. We're going to go into the bright yellow, okay? Now, and we're going to get it all ready over here on our palette. Let me bring the palette over so we can do that together first. So I'm just wetting this real good, and then I'm going to come back in here and add more water and do it a couple times so it's kind of watered down. But because we're doing 3 tags, we want to have plenty, so I'm going to mix more than I normally would. You know, one thing about watercolor is you don't have to have a lot. It doesn't take a lot. But I'm just making sure, okay, that we don't have to mix it again. So there's the yellow. Now I'm going to take this brush and wet it and go over here where I had the pink earlier, okay? And we're going to do pink right here. Okay? Really get down in there. You tell the other brush is a little bigger because it got in there a little better. For some reason, this one's just doesn't dip up as much. Okay, I'm going to get some more water and add to it. I think we need some more. I need to get some more of these myself. Okay, all right. Let's see what happens. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do these little, what looks like a window. It isn't, though, just so you know. It's not a window. I got to get a napkin here. Kind of dropped it into the paint along that side. I don't want it all over me. Okay, so there we go. We're going to do these first, and then we'll wipe up what we're we're doing. We're going to do 4 in case, you know, just in case we decide we don't like one. So the thing with this is you just wet your brush before you start, okay? And I'm just going to go around the outside like this. Now, this does not have to be neat, okay? We want it to just go around the outside. You don't have to stay in lines or anything like that, okay? If it looks too watered down, we can go back over it with more paint, okay? I want more on that one. Okay, so I'm going to set this over out of the way. Don't worry about the back being messy because, yeah, it's not going to matter. I didn't mix enough of the pink. Let me see if I have enough to do the third one. If you want to pick these up, you can. You don't have to have any on that square. I'm just letting it run over, so it makes it easier, and that's why you cut that extra. I'm going to put that one over here. We don't need it right now. I'm going to go ahead and just do 3 of each of these things, so I don't have to mix more paint up right now. We'll have to have more before it's over, but right now we just want to get the first thing painted. Okay. Super easy, super easy. Okay. Now the other thing we're going to paint some pink on is going to be, I'm going to wipe that up because it'll get on other things we don't want pink, right? Okay, so we're done with that part. I'm going to bring this up and let you see. Okay. Now, oh gosh, I have a big jar this time, and it's too deep. I mean, it's too big for my little brushes. Dadgummit. You know, you learn things as you go. I might have to pour it into a smaller one real quick to keep it from being a nightmare. Okay, so these are going to have a little bit of paint on the back, and that's all right. So we're going to put them right here for now. Let me grab my other little jar that's smaller because I think it'll make this process go a little bit faster. I got to remember that. I had this really cool jar, but it's all rusty at the top, and I thought, well, I'll just put my water in that. That's a cool jar. There you go. What can I say? Now, we're going to do the butterflies next. The butterflies have mostly pink on them, but they're going to have a little bit of yellow also. What did I do with my pink brush? Where did you go? There you are. Here it is right here. Okay, so we're going to go back into this pink. I'm going to get a little more paint. The bad thing is this is sitting next to a dark, the pink is next to something dark. I gotta put some more pink on here. Just a second. Then your brush gets in that darker color and it's a pain. Okay, so you want to think about what you're doing here. This corner where the corners where the leaves are, the 2 corners where the leaves and the flower is, you don't want to go into those with pink. Those are going to be yellow. Let me show you so you remember. Okay. I'm looking at that tag as we go too because I haven't made them before. And you don't want to worry about, you don't want to make it look perfect, okay? Don't worry about that. That's not what we're trying to achieve. We're just kind of like putting some down here, okay? And, yeah, you don't have to worry about it being perfect. And then you're just going to kind of go over it with a little bit of a wet brush. And you're not going out to the edges or anything like that. Okay, that's it right there. Scribble, scribble, done, done. All right. Okay, I just stuck my finger right there. All right, so get some more paint. Start up here, go around. And then really the faster you do it and the least thinking about it, the better you'll like it probably. And if you get outside of those black lines, don't worry. It's not a big deal. I'm going to go over it with a tiny, tiny bit of water to make it kind of just, you know, yeah, I got a little more on that one than I should have, just so you know. Now, you do want your paint watered down when you do this process. And, because you'll like the way it looks better. You don't want it to be so watered down that it, you know, it doesn't look cool. Now, as far as the rest of this goes, everything is going to be yellow except on the tag. So I'm going to lay my little brush right here with my pink, okay? And I'm going to bring my yellow brush out. I'm going to move these to the side so they can dry, these little frames. We're going to do the butterflies, the yellow on the butterflies, but we need to dry them real fast, okay? That won't take very long. When you dry with the heat gun, you're not only drying your paint, but you're heat setting whatever is on the butterfly, okay? Which just keeps the color there longer. Okay, like I just went over that one flower. I didn't want to do that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about because we're going to go back over it and fix it. See, these are drying nicely. Fingerprint right there. I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, now, let me put this back in its little spot. I'm going to go right here and fix that because I don't want my fingerprint in there. And right there is my fingerprint. Now, I want to show you what I was talking about. And this is just a little lesson. I mean, you don't have to worry about this if you don't care. Me, on the other hand, little things like this drive me crazy. So I want my small tip. See, the paint went over onto the flower. Well, the flower is supposed to have the look that it came into the picture after the painting. So anything that got paint on it, you just kind of want to go over it. And we're doing this now, but we could really wait and do it after we do the yellow, which I will on the other things, but I'm just showing you. Because it mutes out the black, and really we should have done the best thing you could do is probably do it afterwards. If you know how to do it and you've not done it before, you know, you could do it that way. So I know that made no sense. It didn't even make sense to me. What's up with that, right? Now on this little flower right here, we're just going to get some paint on our brush. And we got some fuzz floating around here. We're just going to go in each little circle just super fast. Just like that. It does not need to have all this pain and agony over staying inside the lines. It's it's real simple. And the rest of this is going to stay white. Okay. Did all three of them there. And I'm wiping paint as we go so I don't end up making a mess. Now, on these little tags that have happy on them, we're going to want to just go through it like this, just straight across. Leave a little bit of white space, make it look random. You'll like it better, okay? Here we go again. Like, especially around the word happy. You want to leave it, you know, make it look, you know, like you didn't spend a lot of work on it. Okay, there you go. Now, those are the yellow things. I'm going to dry these super fast so I can move them out of the way before we do the tags. Okay, it won't take but a second. Don't burn yourself. This is a heat gun, not the same temperature as a blow dryer. This will burn, so be careful. Once you know those are dry, you can just stack them in a little stack. Oh, we forgot to do the other part of the butterfly. Oh, was me. Crazy old lady. Mostly I'm trying to get this to make sure there's no puddles or anything like that. Okay, let's do the yellow on the butterfly Paula. It might make more sense, and then we'll dry it and let it, then we can do what we need to do. So I'm just going in a circle here. See how I'm doing that? You don't want to run into the, now see, I ended up covering that up, so it's definitely going to have some attention. Let me go over here, and I think I painted them better this afternoon when I was deciding, you know, what I was going to do. And it probably because I was I had more time and I wasn't worrying about, you know, us getting together and doing it. So there we go. Now I'm going to dry these real fast. You know, this doesn't take very long. Got this in kind of puddly, so that part will take longer than anything. Don't burn yourself. See, I got that the one side so wet that I can't, where's the one I was trying to pick up? Right here. See, even on this one, that when I picked it up, I got paint on myself. So you really don't want to puddle it like I did right here. Sometimes when you just get in a hurry, you get what you get, right? You take your time. You'll have more time than I do during this video, and you don't have to get in a hurry. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take our marker real quick and go over those areas that look cloudy. Like this flower right here. It might be too wet. We're going to have to wait a minute. It is still too wet. So we'll give it a second. We'll give it a little bit. We'll work on something else in the meantime. Okay, we'll let those dry. Let's bring these back out. Now, what we want to do on these, you want to put your prettiest sides here and here, okay? Because I did kind of mess up on some of these. The prettiest ones, the ones you really want to show off, right there, okay? Now, on this, the flower's going to be in the upper left-hand corner. We're going to take our Fabri-Tac, something, you know, whatever you want to put on there that you know will hold it without any problems. Without any problems. And then quickly, too. That makes a big difference. Okay, you don't want paint oozing out anywhere. Now, you might be thinking, why are you just laying that flat on there? But see how much easier it is than trying to clean up around where we did the painting. And have a crisp, clean inside square. That's the reason I did it like that. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the other two. If we were just doing one tag, you know, it'd be a lot easier. If you're just doing one journal and you're working on that journal and you don't want to do a bunch, although with this type of thing, I feel like you're better off to do a bunch. That way you have them ready. Because you have to drag a lot of stuff out for this. It has mixed media stuff in it. Or it's actually, you know, just watercolor. But that is a medium that can be part of mixed media too, if you want it to. Any kind of paint, you know. Okay, here's the last one. We're going to do it the same way. Come on, baby. Come out of there. There we go. Okay, get that right there. We'll have to worry about that. Now, there's all three of them. I'm going to let them dry a little bit. Want to make sure that they're inside the line nicely. Okay, now we're going to bring back that, the butterflies and see if we can make them look better, because I don't like that cloudiness. Last time I did the painting before I did the, like, see, even the line doesn't look as crisp. But now doing the line is risky. See how I already went outside? It's really risky, so I wouldn't recommend doing the lines. Don't worry about it. Just do whatever has watercolor over it. Like some of the leaves do, some of them don't. So I'm just doing the ones that have paint or watercolor brushed over them. And then we'll kind of run it through the heat gun real quick. Now see, that's not as cloudy looking. But truthfully, if I had all the time in the world and didn't need to worry about messing it up, I probably would personally repeat these and do the flower on top of the dry watercolor. Or just be careful not to get it on anything that there's a marker for, okay? So I already did this flower, but I didn't come down in here and do these little leaves. And even the stem. The stem is kind of white. Just a couple of those. But this one up here is the one that's worse than these down here. I'm not crazy about that flower particularly. I think it's kind of, how do I put it? How do I say it? Wimpy looking. It's kind of wimpy looking. So you're just going to go over all of these because they're all kind of watercolored. So the black doesn't look black. It looks yellow black. We do not want that. Okay. All right. So that's a little better. And I guess the key to this is just think ahead. After you've made them the first time, make a batch again. And you can make up for all the mistakes. Like I'll have some to make when I get off of here because, you know, I only cut out 3. But I'll probably go back and cut out some more because I had some extra. So I didn't get that leaf, and I didn't get this leaf except the bottom one. Okay, so good. That works out great. We'll give that a minute to dry. Now this is the pen too. I'm going to pull out our first tag. This pen is what we're going to use to write on here. But first, we're going to take some pop dots. Let me find my pop dots. Where'd they go? Are you kidding me? Where are you, pop dots? Here is this. I mean, I literally just had them here. There they are. They went behind my dryer, my heat gun. Okay. So we're going to put pop dots on the back of the frames. And I call them frames because that's what they look like to me. Okay. And so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Move these out of the way. I'm going to put this lid back on so it doesn't dry out. Okay, now let's do this one first. You have to make sure this is the top, like I said, okay? If you don't put enough pop dots on here, it will look saggy in some places, just so you know. So it might look like an overkill of pop dots, but that's just who I am. I don't like mine to look saggy. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. So I'm ending up using 9. But you know what? These are cheap. And then, you know, so I don't really care. So I'm going to kick off these little back stickers. Let's see. I need to watch the time, because we probably can get just like 2 done without any problem. Okay, so you just want to pull the sticky off the back. Now, you got to decide, you got to keep your flower at the top, and you decide how far down you want to go. I say go down just below where you punch your hole and center it, okay? You want to make sure it's straight. Hold it up and look and make sure it's straight. And see, because I used more pop dots on this one than I did the sample, it's not going in and out, up and down, you know. You can see that it's flat across there and that it's doing fine, okay? So we're going to do this next one and flip it over and put all these on there real quick. I hope I have enough. I know that I have more. I just got out just this little bit, not thinking how many we'd need, but we do have enough. It's going to just barely be enough. I always push them down and then flip off the backs. I hope you guys are doing good. You know, I really can't complain. I can complain. I always find something to complain about. Are you guys like that? But not on purpose. But I just I just want it over so I don't have to think about it anymore. So this same thing, you want it down far enough to put your hole reinforcer in, but leave enough room to write below. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other one and hope that we have enough time. Okay. Come on. Listen, I have just enough to do this. Is that not funny? Oh my word. I mean, it was just, see my little thing's empty. That's so funny. All right, so we're gonna get all the sticky going here. And this one's gonna go on the one I've already written on. I wanted to show you what we were gonna do, and I'll do that here as soon as I get all these little backs off. That's one of the thing about using a lot. You got to take all these off. Okay, so I'm going to move that over, and here comes this one. Now, you'll see why it's important because I already have that written, so I got to make sure I've got it centered in the right spot. So you don't want this. You want a space here. I might have to go up a tiny bit, but that's all right. Right there. Now, we're going to write what's on there after the fact, but we need to do those circles, and I'll show you why. Let me get my pen going here. So just look at where the circles are when you look at the Pinterest page. Just look and see where they were. And I'm just going to make, you know, it doesn't matter. Kind of give it a second swirl around. That one, not so great. But, yeah, it doesn't matter because we may want to go over them anyway. But you'd still want to stay on that same line. Okay, so we're going to do our watercoloring real quick. Let me get our names right here, our little happies over where we'll need them. Okay, so we're going to do pink first. And really, honestly, we should have not put these down until we did the watercolor. I just realized it. Now, I'll show you why. I got to get my watercolor wet again because we want it to, yeah, the reason is because you're going to have, last time I did it on the sample, I didn't do, I just did watercolor and then laid stuff on top of it. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to move two of them and work on one at a time. I'm turning it sideways because I want to get some watercolor up under there, and that's why I said, you know, we should have waited and just kind of go down under there so that you know you're getting watercolor in more than one spot. Okay, and the same here. You want it to go up under there where nobody can tell, you know, what you're doing. Not even you. No, I'm just kidding. I just, you know. And then down here, I kind of just did but you don't want it to be too liney. You want it to kind of have some round edges, you know. And that's not my best right there. Just saying. Now, when I did this earlier, I splattered as I went, and I liked the way that ended up looking. So under here, this time you'll see I'm going to try to do better at the whole, not do it as kind of, do more like in a circle kind of thing, so you have a better look. You don't want striggles like that. You want to kind of fill it in, but you don't want to fill in the card. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And then what I did, got to make sure your pink is on there. And see how I'm splattering as I go? And I think it's easier to do it like this. Then you can just wipe it up. Let's pull this other one over. And we'll do the third one that way as well. But I did it as I was going. I just kind of, whatever color you're using, you can do that. Don't worry about getting it on the picture frame. That's fine. Make sure you get some on the top too. See, that's kind of cute. Now I'm going to move this down. Get my wipey, because I got it on me. Wipe this off real quick. Now we'll splatter again. That one doesn't have enough splattering, so when I splatter the other one, I'll splatter it again. I'll move this one over to the side to dry. Okay, here we go. Now, we're going to put the pink on this one. Add a little bit of more paint over here. Don't want it so watery that the paint is real light, you know. And so now, because I already put the words on here, I'm going to have to go over this. And I'm going to do this one more like, probably more like the one I did the other one. My sample. I like the messy look. Now, I'm going to wet my brush. And remember, when you're doing stuff like this, you want to put away anything you don't want to get messy. But you also need to remember that this is watercolor, so it's not going to be something to freak out over. You can use another brush, you know, instead of your finger, but I use my finger. I'm going to wipe it off. Okay, so we're going to hit these with a dryer because we don't want our yellow paint that's going to be coming into the picture to be smeared into the pink, because then we have an issue, right? So I'm going to wash my pink brush and put it in the jar, bringing out this, and here we go. We might end up with some pink or yellow on the back of our card where we want people to journal, and that's okay. We'll wipe it up here as soon as we get this dry. You want this pink dry at the bottom because we're going to write over it. We're going to let it dry though. After we do the yellow, we're going to let that part dry while we put the butterfly on. So we shouldn't have any problems as far as that goes. Okay, now let me wipe this up a little bit before we start the yellow. If you have if you don't want splatters to go everywhere, I could care less, you know, because I'm cleaning up in here constantly. You could, I lost my train of thought, guys. I'm sorry. Do you ever do that? You could put it in a box. That's what I was trying to remember. You can put it in a spray box and get the same effect, and you don't get it everywhere. And I know you guys have seen my boxes that I do that are like that. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to do a circle. Be done with it. Do a circle. Don't stay right on the circle necessarily. Just going to do a circle. And because this is not going to be the big picture, okay? So how easy was that, right? So we're done with that portion of painting. And actually, that's all of the painting. Oh, no, there's one more thing. Glad I remembered this. I'm going to set these out of the way for a second. Let me find the yellow. I'm going to do the reinforcers. Are already yellow, but there's 4 on here, and I'm just going to go over them with the yellow that we'll be using on the tag, so that that reinforcer looks more of the same color, okay? And that will dry. So I'm going to move the paint out of the way for now. And the next thing we're going to do is get our butterflies on there. And we are going to need more pop dots. Let me think how I did that. No, we'll need some more pop dots, not just for, let me grab some as we're talking, for your label. We'll need some for the label. And so when it hangs over the edge over here, we want it to be like it needs to be. So we're going to take our little Happy, and now Happy's going to go down here, okay? We're not going to have him be way up high. You're going to be able to see the flower, okay? Before we do the butterfly, we will do the string, okay? So we've got Happy here, but if you look on the ends, he's going to kind of be floating out there. So we're going to put some pop dots up on the very end as we need it. I'm cutting these circles in half, so we won't need to have, you know, anything giant under there. Okay, let me get the backing off. Now the rest of him will be put on with glue. And we're not putting the, I'm trying to look and see where I put the string. No, it was after the label. So we're doing okay. Okay, so we're just going to put the glue just in the middle section, you know. You can go ahead and take it to the end, even if it's going to have a little, I'm going to get one on here at a time. It's lots easier. Turning this sideways. But I am going to put this little sticky here, and you want to put it on the very edge of both of them, because we don't know how far over we'll need it, and we may not even need it. See, it wants to come up with my finger. It thinks my finger should stay. Okay, all right, there we go. Now we're going to go right here, bring it down lower portion of your frame, all the way over. Okay, just like that. Now, we've got the pop dots under there, but they're not really doing much good. See right here? Because we need them to be twice that tall. So, like this side over here is working. Let me just kind of hold them for a second. Okay, now got that there. And we're going to bring the next one in. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to have a pop dot cut in half. You know, I'm just going to get those ready so I don't have to deal with it when the thing has glue on it. All right, now, come on, Happy. Come on, Happy, let's be happy. I have lived in my pajamas. I don't know about you guys. I mean, why do laundry, right? It's like, can't go out of the house. No one's coming in. Might as well not. Oops, almost forgot. Put these little honeys back on here. Not back on here. They never were on here. What can I say? Okay, and then do this one the same way. We're probably getting real close to our time being up. Okay, here we go. So we're going to make sure it's going to be even with this side, just like that. You know, and you got to remember that when I cut all this stuff, it was all done kind of freehand. The only thing I used the ruler on is the square in the middle. And yeah, and that worked out fine. Okay, one more and we'll do it. And then I need to look and see what the time is. Don't want to cause us to go over. It's not really enough to run it over to the next one. We may just get to do the writing on one. It will just depend on where we're at. Okay, and we're going to put these pop dots underneath. Put the last name, label, name tag, label, whatever you want to call it on. Come off of there. Okay, let go. Let go of me. All right, and again, keep it down low. Make sure it's not hanging out further on one side than the other. Okay. Now, let me look at the time. Oh, we're already over. But we're going to finish this one real fast. But I'm going to show you here, because this needs to be gone back over, what we're going to write on here. And we can't piddle around. It's an hour and 7 minutes. Okay. You just freehand the word today. Kind of do it in one big motion. Now, I'm having to go slower because I've already done it. Okay. And I'm going over that because it's cloudy. But I'm going to finish those letters later. But that's how you would do it. You just kind of center your today, and then is all we need to nurture. Okay, now let's get our butterflies over here. Get some thread. I'm going to show you real quick what we're going to do with the thread. Now, I'm always pretty good to make it nice and neat. You don't have to do that. You can just blob it down there. But I just take it in a circle. Because I'm hurrying. It's not going into a circle very well. But I just do a circle around 2 or 3 fingers. Because when you pull it off of there, it's going to fall into some place. Okay. So we're going to do right here where the butterfly will be. Just kind of let it drop into its own place. Let me trim that off because we just don't have time to deal with it. And you don't have to glue it down because it's going to stay glued down depending on where you put it. Now, let me look behind the butterfly. The butterfly is just glued down. If you decide you want to add some pop dots somewhere, that is your decision, okay? Now, you want to put the glue up and down, and I'm going to do a little bit across too. And where your string is, you want your butterfly to drop down a little bit. See, and he's going to hang off the side over here some too. And you want to see your word happy if possible. Okay, now you can make him look more dimensional. I didn't put glue on the end. I just did it across the middle. And you can kind of spread your string out. But you just want to make sure your butterfly is straight when it's all said and done. Okay, now we're going to take our reinforcer, and I recommend you put a little bit of glue on the back, because we know that I just covered it in water, right? You can put this on both sides if you have enough. I just have enough for the front. So I'm just putting the reinforcer on there. It just does something to make it look better. Now, unfortunately, this one doesn't want to go all the way down, so there we go. Okay? And we're going to put in this kind of jute on it, if I can find it. I thought I had it already cut, but I guess I didn't. So let me grab some. It's right here next to me. On this particular tag, I don't always just fold it over, pull the two ends through the loop, push the loop through. Okay. To me, this makes me think of spring and summer, and we're approaching that time. And yeah, there you go. Now, I don't keep it super long. I don't like it super long. But I will work on these, make them look even more beautiful, and I'll show them to you next time. I'm sorry we had to cut it short. We probably should have just did one. But you know how it is. All right, guys. Welcome, new subscribers. Glad you're here. We're like three subscribers away from meeting 2,000, and that's when we'll be doing a giveaway. So, thank you to all my current subscribers. I love you all. See you next time. Bye.